Everyone, today we're gonna talk about Genesis 2 verse 19. And YHVH Elohim formed from the ground every beast of the field and every bird of the heavens, and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. And whatever the man called each living soul, that was its name. This verse, as seen through the Zohar, unveils the profound mystical power of speech, the divine origin of language, and the central role of Adam as the archetypal soul, a co-creator who reveals hidden essences through naming. This act is not mere classification, but a sacred invocation of the true spiritual identity of all beings. The first phrase we have, and YHVH Elohim formed from the ground. Is this reiteration or revelation? The Zohar points out that animals were already said to be created earlier in Genesis 1. So why the repeat here? Because this verse refers not to creation ex nihilo, but to their presentation to Adam for spiritual activation. The animals and birds are now brought forth in relation to man, suggesting that Adam's consciousness is a catalyst. What had been created in potential form is now revealed in interactive relationship with the human soul. The next phrase we have, and brought them to the man. This is a trial of perception. The Zohar teaches that God brings the animals to Adam not as a passive display, but as a test and demonstration, to see what he would call them, to reveal whether Adam's soul truly grasped the inner essence of creation. This is not about giving arbitrary names. It is about recognizing the spiritual DNA of each being and assigning a name that matches its root identity in the supernal worlds. In Hebrew, the word for name is Shem, which shares a root with Sham, meaning there, implying that the name is where the essence resides. The next phrase we have, to see what he would call them. This is speech as creative revelation. This verse reveals the mystical power of speech. Adam's naming is not descriptive. It is constructive. In the Zohar's view, speech is a force of manifestation. To speak a name in alignment with divine will is to anchor that essence into the world. Adam is operating through Ruach HaKodesh, which is divine inspiration. His words vibrate in harmony with the supernal Sephirot. Thus, each name spoken by Adam reveals the inner archetype of the creature as it exists in the heavenly realms. The next phrase from the verse, we have, whatever the man called each living soul. This is the soul knows its name. The phrase living soul, in Hebrew Neves Hayah, suggests that animals also possess spiritual sparks, albeit at a lower level. Adam's role is to identify the spark, call it by its resonance, and thus fix it in place within creation. This is similar to the Kabbalistic practice of rectifying sparks, finding divine fragments in the world and elevating them through conscious interaction. Naming is therefore a form of tikkun, spiritual rectification. The Zoharic principle behind this verse is humanity as interpreter of divine language. The Zohar emphasizes that Adam's naming reflects the power of da'at, integrated knowledge and connection between the upper and lower worlds. In Kabbalah, names in Hebrew are not random. They are the vibrational blueprint of what they describe. Adam, created in the image of the divine, uses his speech as a mirror of the divine voice that created the world. This moment confirms Adam's stature as the crown of creation, capable of perceiving the hidden and giving form to the invisible through language. To summarize Genesis 2 verse 19 as interpreted by the Zohar, reveals the mystical purpose of language, the role of humanity in revealing divine identity, and the sacred nature of naming. God forms the animals and birds from the earth, but now brings them before Adam, not for physical arrangement, but for spiritual activation. The act of naming is not a label, it is an invocation of essence. The name reveals the true inner nature of a being as it exists in the divine blueprint of creation. Adam, filled with divine breath, speaks with the Ruach HaKodesh, naming each soul according to its spiritual resonance. Each name spoken is a form of tikkun, anchoring divine sparks into their rightful place. This verse teaches that speech is not trivial, it is a tool of creation. When humans speak in truth, clarity, and awareness, they participate in the same creative stream as God's "let there be light." In your life, this verse invites you to remember words shape reality. Names are holy. The true task of consciousness is to see beneath surface forms, to call forth essence, and to speak with precision, reverence, and alignment. You are not just a speaker, you are a namer of souls. That's it for today. Thank you very much for your donation. Be blessed, everyone, and I will see you on the next episode.